Now it's time for Money Matters. A recent survey found 42% of Americans will retire with less than $10,000 saved.
Total, we're talking about here. Dylan Schoonover is the CMO of Strategic Wealth Designers. Dylan, that's quite an alarming stat. What's the first thing that our viewers out there can do to be sure they are prepared if they're going to retire?
Yeah, well, hopefully you're not currently in that position, because that is a tough one to be in, and $10,000 to go for potentially 20, 30, 40 years of the rest of your life is very difficult. Of course, those viewers may, if they are in that situation, maybe relying on Social Security, but that doesn't allow a lot of wiggle room for other fun things. So the first thing to do is, whether you're young or old, start putting money back. If you're 30 right now and you save $500 a month, you'd be a millionaire by the time you're 65. And so the more you put back earlier, we've always heard this, but the more you put back earlier, the more you're going to be wealthy. And a lot of times, some of us may spend $500 a month on eating out. And so you could really cut back and save some there. But get ahead of it, because a lot of times now pensions are going away, and so those were something that people used to be able to rely on, and now that's not there anymore. And so 42% is way too many people to not have more money to be able to enjoy their retirement.
It certainly is. Often people don't have a plan in place even to know if they have enough saved for retirement. How should viewers go about getting their financial in order? Yeah,
absolutely. You should always consult a professional. You know, if you have an illness with your health, you're going to go to a doctor. You may not ultimately take that doctor's advice, but you should at least get some consultation on it to see what is wrong. Google is a great source of some information, but it's not fully going to factor in everything that's going on with your body. Same thing is true with the financial sector, and so get a consultation from a professional, whether it's us or anyone else that you're working with. Go and seek out some advice. You may not understand that you could save thousands of dollars in taxes. A lot of times people, especially if they own their own businesses, they can sometimes convert $30,000 to $40,000 a year tax-free in taxes. And if you have a window there before RMDs hit at 70 and a half, required minimum distributions, which if you're 70 and a half, you definitely know about that, you can take money and convert that between 60 to 70 and oftentimes save $300,000 or $400,000 that could be tax-free. So,
you know, you mentioned fun money, people having some money to do what they might want to do, travel, whatever. But what about medical expenses, which also, as we age, more things go wrong, right?
They certainly do. And so that is something that it depends on where you're at and what assets you have saved. Oftentimes, long-term care could be necessary for some folks. And sometimes if you're in that 42% of less than $10,000, you're not going to be able to have that funding to be able to take care of that. So you really want to get a plan and budget now. Get things in place. Everybody puts things off. It's the same thing with wills. People talk about it and they're like, well, we'll do that sometime, but then ultimately sometime doesn't come. So you have to prepare now, because otherwise you could have an illness that you weren't, I mean, nobody foresees getting sick, right? You're not like, well, at 72, I'm going to get really ill. Like, no one plans for that. And so you have to put things in place now so that you can be properly prepared when those things do come along. And if everything's good and you're not sick and you're well, then you get to have that fun money and you can go out and travel.
All right. Dylan, thank you so much. Good information as always, and learn more ways to make your money matter on WKYT.com.
And if you have something you want us to discuss, send an email to news@WKYT.com. We'll talk about it here.